Now that you can route tasks to plan mode or direct execution and keep discovery contained with the Explore subagent, let's sharpen the refinement loop itself. This module adds concrete techniques to replace vague prose with clear examples, tests, and interviews, and shows you when to batch feedback versus when to sequence it, so your iterations become faster and more precise. By the end of this module, you can replace prose with examples, and prose with tests and interview first, batch or sequence feedback. Here is how this module builds up. This technique is about replacing ambiguous prose with concrete input-output examples, and replacing vague bug reports with specific failing test cases. It is not about writing longer, more emphatic descriptions. The distinction that catches people is thinking the model needs more information, when it actually needs less room to interpret. Examples remove that room. Without this, you get the exact failure the exam describes. You ask 3 times and get 3 different behaviors. In production, that means data pipelines with inconsistent formatting, migration scripts that silently corrupt nulls, and endless rounds of please fix this that never converge. The cost is developer time, data quality, and trust in the system. Examples and tests make the expected behavior unambiguous from the start. Let's work the address normalization case. You have the instruction normalize the address field sensibly, and it keeps giving inconsistent formats. You replace it with 2 or 3 pairs. First pair, 123 Main Street, Springfield 123 Main Street, Springfield, Illinois, 62701. Second pair, the ugly one, apt 4B, 500, Oak Lane, Chicago Heights 500, Oak Lane, apartment 4B, Chicago Heights, Illinois, 60411. These pin down the format, the field order, and the handling of apartment numbers. For the null bug in the migration script, instead of saying handle nulls properly, you write a test case, input row with address equals null, expected output row with address equals null or a specific placeholder. The alternative, adding more detail to the prose, loses because it still leaves interpretation to the model. The other cases in the document follow the same pattern: examples over description, tests over adjectives. The durable rule is, whenever you get inconsistent results from a prose instruction, replace it with concrete input-output examples. This is true in any system, not just Claude. For bugs, always write a specific failing test case input and expected output rather than a description of the desired behavior. And reject the instinct to add more detail to the instruction. That is the trap because it assumes the problem is missing information, when it is actually ambiguous interpretation. Examples outperform description every time. On the exam, the distractor that catches people is add more detail to the instruction. It sounds reasonable, but it is the wrong answer across the whole prompt engineering domain. The correct answer will always involve replacing prose with examples or tests. Look for scenarios where the developer has tried prose instructions multiple times without improvement. That is the signal to use this technique. This is testcraft. Knowing the trap is half the battle. The interview pattern means you instruct Claude to ask you questions before writing code about invalidation, failure modes, consistency, so you discover constraints you didn't know you had. Feedback batching is the companion practice. When you have multiple review comments, you group the ones that interact into a single message, and you send the independent ones separately. The distinction that catches people is that this is not about how many issues there are. 5 unrelated issues are not a batch, 2 entangled ones are. The rule is interaction, not count. Without this, you get fixes that undo each other. Imagine 3 comments on a retry timeout backoff interaction. If you fix the retry logic in one turn, then adjust the timeout in the next, that second change can break the retry behavior you just fixed. By the third turn, you're chasing your tail. Batching them into one message lets Claude reason about the whole interaction at once. On the flip side, if you batch 2 unrelated typo fixes with a complex logic change, and something breaks, you can't tell which change caused it. In production, that means longer debugging, more rollbacks, and a system that feels brittle. The interview pattern prevents a different failure, building a caching layer that falls over the first time the cache is cold because nobody asked what should happen. Take the caching layer case. You don't know this subsystem well, so you write, before you write any code, ask me about invalidation strategy, failure modes, and consistency requirements. That's the interview opener. Claude comes back with questions you hadn't considered, maybe what happens when the cache is cold, or how stale data affects downstream systems. You answer, and only then does it propose a design. The alternative is writing a specification yourself, but that misses the failure modes you don't know about. Now, with the 5 review comments, 3 are about retry, timeout, and back off all tangled together. You put those in one detailed message because fixing any one in isolation would break the others. The 2 typo fixes are in different files and don't touch logic, so you send them sequentially. The rest of the cases follow the same pattern. The durable rule is, when you're working in unfamiliar territory, interview first. Let Claude ask the questions that surface constraints you didn't know you had. When you have feedback, batch the interacting issues into one message so they're reasoned about together, and sequence the independent ones to keep causation clear. Reject the instinct to batch everything to save turns, that's the trap. It produces fixes that undo each other on independent issues and hides which change caused which effect. The reason matters: batching interacting fixes prevents them from breaking each other, sequencing independent fixes keeps debugging fast. That's true whether you're building a caching layer today or a new feature next year. On the exam, expect a scenario with a list of review comments and a question about how to deliver them. The distractor is always the same, an answer that batches everything to save turns. That's wrong because it ignores interaction. The correct answer will batch the ones that touch the same logic and sequence the rest. The test is whether you ask, do these fixes interact, not how many are there. This is testcraft. They want to see if you've internalized the principle or just memorized a rule of thumb. Let's lock in what we learned. First, when you're tempted to add more detail to an instruction, stop and drop in an example instead. It works better every time. Second, turn your prose into tests. They catch mistakes your eyes skip over. Third, always interview before you fix, or you'll solve the wrong problem. And finally, batch feedback only when the fixes actually depend on each other. Use these, and your prompts will sharpen fast.